welcome to another episode of How to Be a Great Player. We're handling a very difficult question in this episode, and the question that gets posed to me often on all of the channels is, how do we deal with a difficult player? Well, the correct question is, are you that difficult player? Are you the dick at the table? We're going to look at what defines these people, and we're going to look at, if you have some of these traits, how you can become aware of them and how you can change them so that you become truly the great player at the table. So what makes a player so hated? What makes the player have those awkward moments where you arrive and everyone goes, oh, you managed to make it. You weren't accidentally hit by a bus on your way here or something. Okay, good. Well, then let's start, everybody. If you've seen those kind of faces, it's not your friends being funny, it's your friends being very, very, very unhappy, but liking you too much to come forward and say, hey, listen, you're a dick. Play properly. So let's look at the first one on the list. Do you dominate rules conversations? Oh, but this rule on this page from this book says this, and that. Remember, there's that sub-table which you should roll on whenever you're doing this kind of role, because it just makes the game better. And now remember, there was that special magazine edition of the rules, and I read this rule system, and I read this, and this rule should have this rule, rule. Now, I agree. Rules are important. Rules help people to define how they play their game. But at the same time, if you are the only one who is defining those rules and you're not the game master, you're a dick. Join a different group who really do like to unpack the rules and who play 4th edition D&D, for example. If you are constantly spouting out rules and whenever your GM makes a call on a rule, you go, oh, but actually it's in this book which I read, your enthusiasm is fantastic and we need people like you. But you need to rein it in. You need to learn when is the appropriate time to raise a rules question. And you also need to gauge your audience, because as much as the GM is frantically trying to work out how to make the story amazing for all of you, you as a player should be going, well, at the end of every session, notice the word end of every session, I go to the GM and I say, listen, there was that call that you made which was not technically right. The rules say this, and that. If your GM says, I didn't know. All right, cool. Next time we come across it, we'll use it. Then, by all means, be his rules guide. I have a few players who know the rules far better than I do. And occasionally, even in the middle of play, I'll say, oh, what would be the rule for this? And then they can jump in and they can tell me. But if they start telling me halfway through an explanation that I'm giving, I will very, very, very quickly just tell them that they fucking fail. If they come to me afterwards and say, you know, that call that you made was actually wrong, you should actually, this is what it says and this is why it says it, then I'll go, oh, that's cool. Remind me next time that happens. If they keep doing that, if you keep going to the GM and the GM keeps going, yeah, no, that's cool, I don't care. Yeah, that's probably what the rule says, but I prefer my way. You then have two choices. Either you can shut up, sit down and carry on playing, or find a different group. And if you're afraid that you can't find the different group, there may be other problems aside from you being the dick at the table. So if you're constantly questioning rules, and I'm not saying you're questioning them because you don't know how the rules work, there's a difference. If you are constantly quoting rules, you may need to rein it in. If you're the only one who keeps shouting, oh, but the rule says, and everybody else isn't, it's time for you to be quiet. Nobody likes it. If they did, they'd be joining you. Think about that. So, try and avoid quoting rules. And if you think that there's a rule that's violating you and it's so unfair that you have to talk about it, let the situation finish first. Then come back to the DM. If you are so desperate to prove that the rule that you know is right, and it takes precedence over the story and over what's happening, raise it. But don't be surprised if people go, yeah, oh, yeah, okay, fine, fuck you, yes, you succeed, it's yours, do whatever you fucking want, because clearly you're not interested in the story, you're interested in winning. Role-playing isn't about winning. If your character suffers an injury, it's part of the story. Don't fight it. Are you trying to dominate rule encounters? This is the second one. This is for people who, like myself, are naturally just loud, vivacious, gregarious, noisy, quick-thinking, fast-talking, stupid idea-generating people. The GM says something and we're going, oh, what's this? How about that? Do I look at his shoes? I look at this. I look at that. I look at this. I'm doing this. I run around the corner. I make a cart quickly out of the thatch and the straw and the wood that I find there using these skills. And then I go and do this and I go and do that. What's the rest of your party done? Why are you even playing in a group? You should be playing MMOs or role-playing games that are on computer where you are the only person who's important. If you dominate all the encounters, if you're the only one who talks to NPCs, or if you're the only one who is allowed to talk to NPCs because when somebody else starts talking to an NPC, you jump in on that conversation because you've got much more important things to question. And you can see where your fellow player's going, but they're just taking too much time. And you know exactly what questions to ask and you've got the right skills to do it. You're a dick. Step back. Try and find enjoyment out of letting others do the talking. Try playing a character just once. Just see if you can do it to test whether or not you're the dick at the table. Play a character who's quiet, who steps back, who doesn't engage. And just see what happens. You might be part of a party who are naturally all introverts and who just like listening to the story. That's fine. But you need to test it first. Make sure that there aren't others who are, or who would really like to be in the limelight just once, but you keep stepping in front of them because you're louder, faster, reacting to situations or whatever the case might be. So think about that. Do you feel that you're just slightly better than everybody else at the table? Go on. A lot of us do. Oh, no, I'm better than that. I'm a better role player than. Oh, they don't know how to role play. They're just rolling. No, I'm better than that. I know I certainly feel it when I sit as a player and I've got a GM who really can't tell a good story. I often go, oh, really? This is painful. I am a dick at a table because I do not do well with bad stories. They irritate me and I go, why am I wasting my life? I can see what you could have done, and this is what you're giving us? This confused jumble of nonsense that just makes no sense whatsoever? I know I'm a dick. I don't play very often, and when I do, I play these very strange creatures who really don't have much interest in the main plot itself, but are more interested in the other characters. Because I know that if I try and play it normally, I get irritated and then I irritate everybody else because I try and drive the story in the direction I think it should be going in. So I suffer from that, and I have learned to either avoid it completely or to try and use it as, if you think you're better than everyone else, well then run a game. That will prove whether or not you have the capacity to be as creative and as fast thinking as 5 or 4 other people. Are you one of those people who goes, yes, let's role play? Okay, cool. Now, yeah, I hit the monster. What? Oh, look at this YouTube video that I found. It's really cool. It's all on how to be a great game master. I think you guys should really. Oh, look, and here's this video of that woman with a donkey. Really? If you are one of those people who cannot leave your cell phone behind, yes, this is the modern age. Yes, you can receive WhatsApps, Instagrams, Kicks, whatever the type of messaging you want to use. Yes, you can get all of that kind of stuff. No, you do not need to answer it now. If you're expecting an emergency call because you're a father with 2 annoying children that need to be constantly taken care of every 3 seconds, or your girlfriend is so paranoid that you're out having a shag with somebody else that she keeps messaging you, don't come to the game. If You have to use technology at the game. You need a tablet to keep your character sheet on. For whatever reason, you should be printing it out and writing it with pen and paper. That's why it's called pen and paper role-playing. But anyway, do not use it in the game for other stuff. I have players who go, oh, it's their story, you're dealing with them, I'm going to sit here and watch stuff. You guys should see that's funny. Is it? Is it really funny? Let's stop the game and be social. If you want to be social, if you want to chat and share experiences with each other and share videos and have a good laugh, that's amazing. That's great. Don't fucking do it whilst role-playing. Role-play or be social. But don't you dare try and decide for the rest of the party. If you're bored with where the story's going, there is nothing wrong with saying, guys, I've had a great time, thank you so much, but I've actually got to head off home. If the rest of the table goes, yeah, okay, cheers, thanks, okay, bye, you're probably a dick and they're quite happy to see you leave. But if you get up and say, guys, I've had a great time, but look, I'm actually going to head out. I've got stuff to do. And they go, no, stay, please, no. All right, well, we'll close the session then. You're probably not a dick. If you have to have tech with you, you need to learn to leave it behind. You're playing an escapism game to escape. Don't bring it with you. Now, in my enthusiasm, I've dropped my notes. Look at that. How unprofessional. If you prove your fellow players and GM wrong all the time, you don't know the rules, that's not what the NPC said, I've made 4 pages worth of notes and I can recount every single word that the GM has said in the last 6 months. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. That movie was great, but you're wrong. This is wrong, your opinion is wrong. If you're always right, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, you're fucking wrong. Socializing with your peers is about allowing people to make mistakes and learn from their mistakes. It's about letting other people have opinions that differ from your own. If you think the GM is making a wrong call, or if you think it's not easy, or if you think it's hard and he thinks it's easy, don't countermand people. Later on, you can go to them and say, oh, I didn't think that was a right call. Why did you think that? If the person goes, it was because I wanted the story to move forward and it didn't seem important, then they didn't think it was important. Only you did. So you need to pick your battles, and this may help you outside of role-playing as well. If you're constantly proving people wrong, well, you're most likely the person who's the dick at the table. Do you fight the GM's decisions only on your character, or do you fight them on everybody's behalf? If you fight them on everybody's behalf, so whenever the GM makes a call that you think is unfair, well, perhaps you're just a little dick. You shouldn't be fighting with the GM in the first place. Let the story unfold and later go and talk to him. But if you're only fighting the GM whenever he makes a call against your character, well, there's probably a reason why he's doing that. Either you're not role-playing very well, you've irritated him by quoting rules at him, or you just generally have made some bad decisions and the GM thinks that what he's telling you is right. Don't fight. That's the main line here. If you're constantly battling with your fellow players, if you're constantly trying to prove yourself worthy of playing by being in the spotlight all the time, you probably will never be worthy of playing, because you're not actually playing. It's just you. Everyone else is there because they're too polite to say so. On the other hand, there are instances where some of these things are beneficial, and I have said a few of them. But you need to look at things in moderation. That's the bottom line. If everyone's laughing and smiling when you're talking, you're probably doing a good thing. If everyone's busy doing other stuff whilst you're yakking on and people's eyes are rolled into the back of their heads and they're drooling and they're kind of looking out the ceiling, or the GM is busy running the pen across his wrists trying to draw blood, you're probably a dick. Do people invite you to other role-playing sessions that they have? Or do they kind of begrudgingly go, oh, you heard about that. Yeah, we're kind of running it, but the group's already kind of full. Sadly, there's just, it's just, yeah. If you're getting those messages, I think you need to look at what you do in role-playing sessions. And if you're unsure, ask the group, hey guys, can I record a session? There is nothing more telling than watching yourself dominate the table, argue with the GM, or fight around things. 2 last points before I'm finished with my rant, and then you can all go. Second to last one. If you always succeed at roles because you've created this ultimate character who never fails, or because you're one of these wonderful people who actually took my dice April Fool's joke seriously and tweak the roll before you reveal it, or pick up the dice so quickly that no one else could see what the number is, or play with clear dice so that no one else can see what the values are. If you're one of those dicks at the table, guess what? You're a dick at the table. There's nothing that can be done about it except you should have your fucking fingers cut off. If you cheat at a game that is about telling a story that says something very poor about your character, I take great offense at people who cheat at a game where everything is made up. Anyway, enough on that one. If you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or both or either or neither or someone who does not prefer to be called a girl or a boy or anything in between, and you insist on bringing your loved one to the gaming table, make sure that they are not the dick at the table, because what that will mean is that your friends go, oh my God, he's bringing her, or he's bringing him. Why? They're so bad. I've done it myself. I've brought my partner to the table going, oh, it's going to be wonderful. We can role play together. It's amazing. Oh my God, you're the dick. I'm now the dick. We're the dicks. Well, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend who desperately wants to come with you to role playing because they think they would like to give it a try, you need to sit back and be objective and go, they're not helping. The party is sullen, they're quiet, they're miserable, and everyone is very slow to get the game going. None of their characters are interacting with my significant other's characters. You need to make the call and realize, I'm sorry, this is the one night of the night that our umbilical cord gets cut, and you're going to have to learn to stay on your own like you did before we met. Yes, I understand that for people in our community, finding a significant other who shares our interest, even the slightest amount, is like finding hen's teeth. And we're so proud that we've managed to get somebody. It's not worth it. Do not become the dick at the table because you bring your significant other, who is a very, very bad thing, to the table. Be honest with yourself. So, when people say to me, what do I say to a player who's absolutely terrible and who really ruins my game because they're a rules lawyer or they cheat or because they've got a terrible girlfriend and we can't tell her not to come because we want him to come? And we don't want him to think we're dicks because we're saying he can't bring his girlfriend who's a dick, and he becomes a... Step back, let them watch this video. And if they're angry with you afterwards, it doesn't matter. They probably won't come to your game again, which is fine, because guess what? They were a dick! Anyway, for those of you who are not, I thank you. I really, really do. It is a great pleasure to sit around a table with a bunch of people who are great players, you've got a great GM, and you just have fun, and there's no dick or pressure or hatred or angst or, oh, please don't let them show up, please, 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 or let's secretly move the game to Saturday night when we know they're away. When you don't have to do that anymore, what a pleasure. So I hope that this video does not talk to any of you. And if it does, have hope. It's not too late. Identification of your dick status is the first step to learning how to overcome it and how to turn it into a strength. Be the rules lawyer after the game if people care. Help make the game better by interpreting those tricky to read and understand rules. Be the person who guides the group through forceful discourse, but make sure that you guide the group into engaging themselves into that discourse. Try and make sure that you are a power of good and that people say, I want you at my table, rather than people going, I sold the table. Yeah, we're installing a mechanic shop and we're going to cover ourselves in grease and set ourselves on fire, you're welcome to join us. Don't be that person. Till next time, hopefully, happy gaming.